If you've ever caught yourself analyzing a one-word reply for 20 minutes, this video is going to hit close to home. Because here's what's actually happening when someone breadcrumbs you, and why the way a secure person handles it looks almost nothing like what most of us actually do when we're in it. We're going to get into the real behavior, the real responses, and the part nobody talks about, which I almost cut from this video because it's a little uncomfortable to hear. But it's the most important part of all of this, so don't leave early. Let's make sure we're talking about the same thing. Breadcrumbing is when someone gives you occasional texts, mixed signals, inconsistent attention. Just enough connection to keep you emotionally invested, but with no real consistency, no commitment, no forward movement. Nothing actually builds, it just floats. And the cruel part? It's enough to keep you hooked. Because your brain isn't responding to what's actually there, it's responding to the possibility of what could be there. Research on intermittent reinforcement, the same psychological mechanism behind slot machines, shows that unpredictable rewards create stronger emotional attachment than consistent ones. So when someone shows up randomly, disappears, then comes back with just enough warmth, your nervous system lights up harder than it would for someone who was just reliably there. You're not weak for falling into this. Your brain was literally wired for it. A secure person notices the pattern early. Not because they're cold, but because they're paying attention to behavior, not just feeling. They're thinking, this feels inconsistent. Their words and actions don't match. I like this connection, but I also need clarity. What they're not doing is spiraling into, what if I lose them? Maybe if I say exactly the right thing tonight. Why did they watch my story but not text back? That's the core difference. A secure person stays grounded in what's actually happening, not in the story they wish were true. And if this is already clicking because you've lived this exact spiral, drop a like. It helps me know this is landing where it needs to. A secure person doesn't treat one late-night text, one random compliment, one, hey, been thinking about you, after 2 weeks of silence, as proof of anything meaningful. They're not looking for grand gestures. They're looking for consistency, effort, emotional availability, follow-through. Does this person do what they say they're going to do? Do they show up in small, reliable ways? Because that's what actual interest looks like. Not a well-timed text when someone's lonely at midnight. When someone only offers crumbs, a secure person doesn't start building a whole meal in their head out of it. They see it for what it is. A secure person doesn't silently suffer, hoping the other person will figure out what they need. They also don't blow up or send the paragraph text at 1 a.m. They just say the thing, calmly. Something like, I enjoy talking to you, but I'm looking for something more consistent. If you're not in that place right now, that's genuinely okay. I just need clarity either way. No attack, no emotional manipulation. Just an honest statement of what they need, said like someone who actually believes they deserve to have it. Because I know what you're thinking. Okay, but how do you actually bring it up without it turning into a whole thing? Timing and tone matter more than the words. A secure person doesn't bring it up mid-good moment, trying to lock something down while the energy is high. They also don't wait until they're so frustrated it comes out sideways. And critically, they don't bring it up right after the avoidant resurfaces from a disappearing act. That's the worst possible moment. The avoidant is already in retreat mode. Pushing then almost always backfires. Instead, They wait for a calm, neutral moment, a real conversation happening, some genuine warmth in the exchange. And then they say something honest, without making it feel like an interrogation. Something like, "Hey, I like spending time with you, but I've noticed things feel inconsistent, and I just want to be upfront. I need a certain level of consistency to feel good in something. I'm not trying to pressure you. I just think we should both know where we stand." Then they stop talking. They don't fill the silence. They don't soften it with, "But it's totally fine either way," just to escape the discomfort. They say it and let the other person respond. Because the response is the whole data point. An avoidant with some self-awareness will feel the discomfort but stay in the conversation. They might not have a perfect answer immediately. A secure person can work with, "I need to think about that," if actual thinking follows. What they won't accept is a deflection, a subject change, or a sudden burst of affection designed to close the conversation without addressing it. If the avoidant responds with honest acknowledgement, even just, "You're right, I know I've been inconsistent," that's something real to work with. If they respond by making you feel like the problem for bringing it up, that tells you everything you needed to know. A secure person doesn't try to earn basic consistency. If someone keeps disappearing, gives mixed signals, or only resurfaces when they're bored or lonely, the secure person pulls back. Not to play games, not to make the avoidant panic. Just because the honest internal response is, "This dynamic doesn't feel emotionally healthy for me." No drama, no strategy. Just a quiet recognition that they're not getting what they need, and they're not going to pretend otherwise. I'm genuinely curious about something here. Have you ever pulled back from someone who was breadcrumbing you, and it actually changed how they behaved? Or did the pattern just continue? Drop it in the comments. Other people watching this need to hear what actually happens in real life, not just theory. An anxious response to breadcrumbing looks like checking your phone every 10 minutes, reading tone into punctuation, feeling a high when they text and a crash when they don't. That emotional volatility is driven by outsourcing your stability to someone who isn't offering any. A secure person still feels things. They get disappointed. They feel the pull of attachment. But their self-worth isn't held hostage by someone else's inconsistency. They don't interpret a 2-day silence as, "I'm not enough." They don't interpret a vague text as, "I need to prove my value." They feel the discomfort, sit with it, and don't make it mean more than it does. Here it is, the part I almost didn't include. A secure person values mutuality more than potential. They don't stay indefinitely attached to almost relationships, confusing dynamics, or the version of someone they've built in their head. Because at its core, secure attachment says, "I want real connection, but not at the cost of my own emotional stability." And here's the uncomfortable truth. The reason secure people seem calmer, more grounded, almost magnetic in how they handle this, is not because they feel less. It's because they've decided they are not available for the kind of love that requires them to disappear in the process of giving it. They don't cling. They don't collapse. They don't abandon themselves to keep a connection that was never fully offering itself to them. They stay open to love. They just refuse to chase uncertainty. And if someone can't meet that, they let them go. Not with bitterness, just with clarity. That clarity is what you're building toward. And it starts with recognizing that the crumbs were never the point. Your response to them always was. If this gave you something to think about, send it to someone who's been stuck in this same cycle. They might need to hear it more than they're letting on right now. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.